Alright, gamers, we got some insane news from the devs from yesterday's Campfire stream. And they talked about the Season 5, Mainland Season 5 PTR that happens on Tuesday, 25th of June, which is a couple days from now. And we got some patch notes. So today I'll be covering classes. I'll have more videos covering more topics. And I can also leave this link in the pinned comment in the description if you want to take a look for yourself. But first things first, we get the global tempering for crit damage, vulnerable, overpower, and ultimate. We no longer have to create a rogue for the crit damage tempering, so this is pretty cool. I really like this one. And started with Barbarian, we get the new amulet, a unique here, Unbroken Chain. When you cast Steelgrass, reduces the cooldown of the ultimate Iron Maelstrom, and the mobs hit by this ultimate will deal less damage too. I've got a picture here. They shared this one. They haven't shared all uniques, sadly. They're mentioned in this post, but at least something. And as you can see, the affixes are pretty good on this item. And we got another one, legendary aspect. This one is not that good. Movement speed when you knock back enemy. I know charge does that. It's not that good. Kick as well. And new tempering recipes, we got vulnerable. This is pretty good. Bleeding as well. So bleed builds are gonna go crazy. This one, not really sure. Bonus damage against injured. I don't think it's as powerful. Got another page here with some adjustments. This has been already hit. This is already the live servers, Bash and Flay. Some changes here, some mainly boarding, and you also get more fury from Bash if you go with Battle 1. So this is pretty interesting. The 45 here for 20% HP is also pretty crazy. Flay got duration increase for vulnerable by 5 seconds, up to 5 seconds. Combat Flay has damage reduction increase up to 20% in general. Endless Fury is a passive that gets you more Fury regen. Finally, they removed the 200 requirement. Now you can use it on any weapons and increase this the gain. Imposing Presence got slight nerf, which was needed because we could temper it into it, and it was pretty powerful. Went on Rapture, the most important bleed aspect is getting an update as well. Pretty interesting. Whirlwind update, not that good. I mean, not that significant. We don't really use it now. Speaking of Whirlwind, I do have a build just published yesterday in the right upper corner, if you're interested. Steadfast, I really like this aspect, but it was based on luck hit, now it's not. So this is basically 45 on hit if you are berserking, so that's pretty insane. Core grips are getting a buff as well. Increased size on the explosion if you temper with whirlwind size. That's pretty cool. Could be pretty crazy with the new item boots that give you a explosion when you use a skill. That could be very insane. Hemorrhage is now capped, no longer uncapped. That's why right now bleed builds are insane, because you could cap this infinitely. Well, if you stack vulnerable. Now it's at 45%, not that high, but it will still be crazy good. Weapon Mastery, this was the Fury gain on weapon swap. Before it was 4%, now it's 8%. Insane buff. Even with the 4%, it was already crazy. So that was Barbarian. Let's move on to Druid. They also have a new unique gloves, which are also pretty damn insane. They haven't shared a picture of these, I believe, but Cataclysm now is a guaranteed strike anything in the range, and you will deal increased damage for the duration effect. You'll have also Infinite Spirit while you have Cataclysm up. And they also, as you can see, they also added a new cooldown reduction for all the ultimates for Druid, so you can even do Cataclysm. My goal is to make Lacerate permanent, but we'll see. So I like this name as well. Interesting setup here. Now we got Rushing Wilds. This is, once again, they added mobility aspects for every class. Most of them are bad, except Necromancer, I feel like. This one, I guess, is alright if you're playing pet build. For the Druid here on the other side, we got buffs to skills, and major buffs to skills, actually. So Landslide is getting like almost a double increase on the skill damage. The area is increased as well, and double the amount of pillars, and total damage is also increased. Like Landslide, looking very insane. My favorite Shred build, Shred Druid, is also finally getting a buff. I don't believe this is enough because Shred is falling behind big time, but I'll like to try it on the PTR and report back. Pulverize getting another buff, I believe. This is another one after the one that went live on the server. Tornado getting buff, Lightning Storm, Hurricane also getting buffed. Ravens can be used with Creeper while sprint and while moving. Lacerate, AoE increased damage, or like AoE whatever. And then it will teleport to the target instead of staying on the position, on the place. This is very good. Cataclysm Lightning Strike rate is doubled. Like Kata is getting insane buffs. Now Grizzly Rage, they made it so you cannot have this one almost up non-stop. This one, the cooldown starts for the ability after the rage ends. This goes for majority of immortal skills. Not saying this is immortal skill, but you will see later with Sorcerer. And in general, they're just buffing this ability with damage. Now we get Roar nerf with the damage reduction. 70% was really high. Now it's down to 40. Bulwark finally gives you a barrier that's scaling from our max life and no longer from base life like before. So this is like Iron Skin and Barbarian. It's pretty good. Non-physical damage reduction is increased from 10 to 15. Overall, Druid is getting a lot of damage reduction buffs. Shepherd now only affects your companion skills, no longer Core and Wrath. That's a pretty huge nerf. Skinwalker. This is another one. When you change form, you get life. If you're a full life, you get 45. Nothing too bad for shapeshifting builds, but nothing that crazy either. Aftershock delay from second set of landslide slightly decreased. A lupine ferocity. This is the ultimate for wolves. It used to take 6 hits to get extra damage proc. Now it's 3, so this is a huge buff. Like, that's going to be pretty interesting. Vigilance, damage reduction increase, a bunch of damage reduction increase here. Metamorph Stone no longer removes Wrath skill from Boulder. This means that the amulet, the Dolmen Amulet, I believe it's called, that has plus Wrath skills is gonna apply to Boulder. That's pretty good. Thunderstruck, the only viable build for Druid Windshear, was doing damage because of infinite scaling, but this legendary node is getting capped now. Human damage reduction increased for all these 4, actually, all DR. And that was the Druid. We got Necromancer with the unique boots. Now, Bone Prison traps a larger area, fires up to 35 bone splinters, and increases your max essence by 2 for 8 seconds each time these bone splinters hit an enemy. I feel like Bone Prison with Bone Spirit stacking overpower and just like max resource could be really insane with these boots. That's what I'm thinking. Now we got legendary aspects here. This is the only good mobility aspect I think I like. When you cast Golem's active skill, you will get basically increased movement speed, and you will be also unhindered, both you and Golem. This means you can move through mobs freely. You will not get body blocked by mobs, so that's pretty cool. Now we get some more. Actually, we get some more here for Necromancer. Sever now dashes. This is my favorite one because I wanted to make a Sever build since closed beta. Some of you may remember me from back then. It was my first build on Necromancer at level 25, which was the level cap. So Sever has cooldown now, but it dashes you forward to attack instead. It's a mobility skill and it costs no essence, and there are mobility skill cooldown reductions. So this could be really insane. It's going to be really insane. I'll try to go for this one. Because if I'm not wrong, if I'm right, you could put this on Amulet and get even lower cooldown, which you can then bring even lower with this, but we'll see. And then Decrepify, cooldown reduction with Lucky Hit. I'm just getting into builds now. I have to stop. Now, Creeping Mist, you gain evade cooldown reduction here. And if you evade during Blood Mist, you travel twice as far. Something similar to like Metamorph Dash, I think. And entering as you get Blood Mist resets your cooldown, evade cooldown, excuse me. So that's pretty interesting as well. Next up, Bone Spirit is also pretty insane. When Bone Spirit explodes inside of Bone Prison, that's why I was talking about that combo before, it explodes an additional time, dealing a more 70% of normal damage. So my question is, if you overpower with this Bone Spirit, will this follow-up overpower as well? To my knowledge, from similar behavior of aspects on other classes, it should. And it will make it extremely insane and busted. Right, and then we got temperings for Necromancer, we got defensive ones, skill ranks to Necrotic Carapace, Drain Vitality, Minion DR, and then chance to minion to get 45 for 3% life. This is insane max life. It's pretty good. This is pretty good. Going over some of the detailed changes here. Necromancer minions attacks can now overpower. This is ridiculous. This is insane buff. If you go with the overpower builds with the Bone Prison Spirit, once again, like I mentioned, oh my god, I'm scared to see this. But it's very tempting. And they are buffing the AI on minions again, so they are more aggressive. Golem here, if the Golem is far from target location, it will leap to the target. This is pretty insane. And they also increase the size of the slams, so the AoEs should be very nice for this build, for this skill. Now you will see a bunch of buffs now to skills that don't really make sense to be buffed, but there is a reason for it. So Sever is getting buffed all around, even Lucky Hit, a Blight Dot as well. Some of you may know I made thanks to my friend, I have a build with the Blight setup in the right upper corner for Necromancer before the patch. Before they made pits easier, he was able to clear like 110 no problem on Necromancer, no minions. Bloodwave increased by 300%, pretty ridiculous. And Shadow Blight here is actually getting buffed twice, and also hits required are reduced. This is pretty insane, but you will see why. Hellbent Commander is getting a slight nerf. Blighted Aspect, which is the aspect with the Shadow Blight, getting 10 times, and it gave you damage up to 120%, which was 240% on the two-hander. And that's the strongest aspect in the game, highest scaling one. So they are nerfing it to 50%, AK 100%. That's a significant nerf. That's why all these skills above got buffed. We got both Bone Prison burst damage increased. Sever also, aspect increase for spawning Blight, and Blight's damage also increased. Hungry Blood, the Bloodlands increased, pretty good one. It was needed. Grasping Waves is getting nerfed now. It's gonna give you less crit damage. And it lasts for 6 seconds rather than infinitely, so you cannot have this up non-stop. Oh, I mean, it depends your cooldown on your tendrils, right? Cadaver's aspect also getting a slight nerf, or quite a big one actually, 30-50 here. Tartarus aspect changed to Iron Maiden. And now we get some unique items for Necromancer. The bonus O-power damage cursed enemies has been increased. We got some other stuff here. Core skill replaced with Tides of Blood. Could be interesting to play a blood build. My friend is using one. Lucky It changed from Meltdown to summoning skill damage. And then the Pendant also replaced with movement speed, so no more summoning skill damage. And the intelligence board has been capped now at 1200 intelligence, so no longer stacking like crazy. Now we got our Rogue. So Rogues are getting chest armor. This one is pretty interesting. I will explain why. So Dash Shot grants you full immunity for 3 seconds. And then evade cooldown is increased. Evading while Dash Shot is active leaves behind explosion. Alright, so you have Dash Shot granting you immune, or like being you were being immune for 3 seconds, and then there is aspect, Umbros aspect, where you will spawn or you will proc Dark Shroud if you use any skill, right? If you crit with a skill. So when you crit with a skill, create Dark Shroud, is it gonna make you non-stop immune? We'll see on PTR, because there is no mention about not making you non-stop immune. I don't know, maybe they overlooked it, maybe that's why we're getting PTR, but that's pretty interesting. Nebulous Brews here, a lot of healing potion aspects here. That's pretty interesting. Mobility skill, a chance to restore a full energy. Your energy is also increased as a new resource aspect here. You got some smoke grenade stuff here for a lot of arrow storms. Looks like they want arrow storms to be a thing. Now, Flurry has insane amount of buffs. You will see later with this aspect and the skill itself. Caltrops also some new stuff here as an aspect. New tempering for Rogue. We got the double Rogue persistent subterfuge expertise. Some damage to smoke grenade because they're changing it to a damage ability. This is pretty interesting. The increased damage for each Dark Shroud Shadow. Some stealth stuff. And then this also interesting one is increased max life while Dark Shroud is active. So this should be a pretty wild as well. Temper. It's like imposing presence for Barb. So yeah. And that one second win is pretty good. Going on with the Rogue here, we get some the preparation and the maximum arrow storms increase from 5 to 7. Spending energy raises your ultimate skill cooldown. This I've been thinking about Death Trap build, to be honest, with this setup. But yeah, and giving good damage reduction, which is very good. Rogue, just like Druid, got a lot of damage reductions increased. We got Blade Shift chance here. No one really uses this though. Invigorating strike damage buff. Twisting Blades got buffed again. Shadow Step is getting a huge buff, not only to the damage, but the way how it works now. You will be able to make enemies vulnerable now. And you also daze the enemies. Daze means mobs will not attack you. You'll get extra damage reduction here from Shadow Step, Wild. And then you will stun the enemy for 2 seconds, and then it will also raise the cooldown by 3 seconds. Dash is getting also pretty nice rework. You will get crit chance increase rather than crit damage. And you also knock down the enemies and deal some damage to them. Pretty high number, but we'll see about this one. Pretty interesting mechanic here. It will also have one more charge. And the charge cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. Lucky for Flurry is increased. Now the good juicy stuff, my favorite build for Rogue Flurry. Each time Flurry damages an enemy, it has a chance to make them vulnerable. And for 3 seconds, and deal increased damage for 5 seconds after hitting vulnerable. So with high attack speed, he will be up to 50% in no time. So this is pretty insane. And another one here, successive cast of Flurry increases damage by 15%, reduces his energy cost by 10% 3 times. Up to 3 times, okay? Not only 50, but 3 times here. That's just ridiculous, man. That's insane. And my favorite one is casting Flurry dashes to the target and heals you for max life. This will be the number 2 build I'll be trying out after Barbarian PTR. I cannot wait. Caltrops got some buffs as well. Dark Shroud got insane buffs too, in my opinion. Movement speed increase, chance to not be consumed, even higher. So extra movement speed. You'll get healed for max life when Dark Shroud is removed, which is pretty interesting. Crit chance increase from 8 to 10%. And now you only need 1 active shadow instead of 2 to get a crit chance bonus increase. Smoke grenade, little changes here as well. Pretty interesting as well. I kind of like it. They are making the physical damage skill has a lucky chance, and it ranks. The skill ranks and now give increased damage and CDR cooldown reduction. It also applies to poison. So current flurry build is with Andariels and stacking poison, and on top, this being a new addition to the skill should be pretty damn insane, to be honest. Poison imbuement is getting a buff here. It basically gets extra energy generation. Poison Trap also got buffed. I have no words how all these skills are buffed for the most OP rogue build, in my opinion. Penetrating Shot, also very good stuff. I heard they are struggling with single target, so this is going to help to have an additional chance to fire free Penetrating Shot. Rain of Arrows is getting buffed too. The passive Concussive is renamed to Unstable Elixir, and this is related to a healing potion, stunning mobs and giving you extra heal. Gambits here, just evade through, makes enemies dazed. Trick attacks, daze the enemy, which combines with the rapid gambits, increase your crit chance and crit damage up to 12%. Impetus is getting also, I'm wondering, shout out to Shred. He said after moving 15 meters, I hope the dashing with Flurry would actually account for this. So it would buff your next core skill, right? So it'll be pretty interesting. Malice, increased damage to vulnerable or knockdown enemies, pretty good. Another buff. Attack speed increased lucky hit. This is insane, dealing poison damage up to 5%. This stacks up to 15 because they said it here. The max stack potential increases by 5% with each skill rank. So I believe this is a 3-point passive. So if you put this on Amulet, you will have even higher increase. Up more than 15, you get 30%. Lucky hit and attack speed. Like, damn, dude. Damn. 100 energy is spent. He grants you max life as barrier, also insane. Rogue will be the highest damage dealing and the tankiest class next season, dude. Just wait. Unless they nerf it from PTR, because this sounds very insane. Heal for max life if you have ultimate skill in the bar. Daggers, damage increase. Victimize is getting nerfed now. It's no longer double dipping, but they're increasing the bonus by 50% to compensate for a bug fix. Momentum, pretty interesting. This looks good with the Flurry, but this is just not that. I mean, we'll see. This is very good for damage reduction, energy and regen, and movement speed up to 30% when you cast the Cutthroat skill. So that's pretty good. Cutthroat is Flurry. Or other like Twisting Blades as well. Using Yellow Potion makes a free Dark Shroud Shadow. Each shadow grants you increased damage reduction. This is insane. This is insane. Healing Potion builds, maybe with Temerity. Lucky hit, Marksman, Cutthroat skills have a chance to create arrows, and arrows deal increased damage. They buff this one. Again, arrows here, damage bonus, Shadow Step increased as well. Trickster now receive benefits from stun grenades. Noxious Ice is getting a buff up to 35 by 5%. Bursting Venom's Toxic Pull increased by 24%. Another poison buff, insane. Increased from Shadow, Explosion, Dark Shrouds, and Vigor here. That's what goes with the momentum I just read about up top, right? So when you have max stats or max stacks of momentum passive, Cutthroat skill will increase damage and become unstoppable 3 seconds every 8 seconds. So that's pretty insane. This aspect looks pretty good with the ultimate passive. Not that the Victimize is nerfed, but we probably still want to use the other one. Very V-stack, crit chance, crowd control damage. Unique items, the one got a change. Saboteur, no longer casting a flurry, it's for any core skill with a stun grenade. Wind Force, some buffs here. Scoundrel Kiss, also another buff. Travico increased, Port of Akan also increased as the legendary, as the unique, so it's pretty good. Finally, they buffed this one as well. Before, when you used the back and forth marksman cutthroat skills, let's say puncture and flurry, you were able to get the increased damage for one skill, then it's gone. Now they made it for 8 seconds, so this is very interesting. Cheap Shot got also buffed. Nearby staggered boss provides the maximum bonus, so 25% bonus, right, when you stagger a boss. Crazy. Now we got also exploit weakness, another, I would say, lucky hit, another buff. If you stack lucky hit with the alchemical passive, there's a chance to increase your damage up to 50%. And at 50%, this bonus reset executes all it will execute all nearby non-boss enemies. This seems very powerful for pit pushing, for high-level pits, when even normal mobs take a lot of time to kill. So that's very wild. Now we have no witnesses capped at 35%. It was uncapped before as well. Instinct also capped. A lot of the legendary nodes for all classes are being capped now. Chance now give ultimate damage here, so no more execute. Ruin also gives you ultimate damage instead of damage to healthy. And Devil Sork, let's go over Sorcerer. I believe this is the last class. So we got the new unique pants. They have a picture here as well. This is pretty interesting for Chain Lightning. If you guys are interested, before this season started, I made a Chain Lightning Sork build in the right up corner. I'm a big fan of the buffs because I like that build. So I'm curious what it's gonna do, how it's gonna look like. We got aspect again, movement speed increase, but doubled if you haven't used defensive skill. So passive 15% movement speed, not too bad. Now we get flame shield enchantment for free. That's a third enchantment. You can run 3 enchantment with this one, with this aspect, which is pretty interesting. For meteor build, I guess, for fire damage. Lightning rod, chance to get chain additional time and then exceed enemies or bosses. Elemental acuity, at max stats you will get the increased bonus damage but up to 120%. All stacks expire after the duration though, which is still fine because like you can cast a lot of skills if you have good cooldown reduction, which is possible with Sork easily. Unstable currents as well, thanks to Ice Blades. Other aspect here, talking about cooldown reduction by 2 seconds. It's a low lucky hit, but with the Sork you stack that, so that's all good. New temperings for Sork. Cast additional charge bolts here, teleport size, Arc Clash, swipe twice. I believe Arc Clash could make a comeback. There's quite good buffs to Arc Clash. Conjuration, some stuff. We got another conjuration for lucky hit. Unbelievable control to passives. And last one is a ranks to conduction and ice armor duration. Also right here, crackling energy got increased with the damage. Ice armor, the barrier got increased. Charge bolts also damage increased. Spark, and damage increased. A lot of lightning stuff damage increase. Crit chance up to 8% here. At max stack, 0 sparks. It hits grants you mana actually. It will give you more if you stack resource generation, which you will need. The depth said you'll need to hit the resource generation because of these pants as they drain your mana basically. Blizzard also got buffed with the damage. Pretty good. Hydra got buffed. Inferno got buffed. Arc Clash got changed. Arc Clash grants mana if you swipe hits. If your swipe hits at least one enemy, when you hit 3 or more enemies or a boss, your next swipe also deals 50% increased damage. So that's pretty sick. Chain Lightning, increased damage up to 30% for its duration. Also as a cooldown reduction if you have it as an enchantment. Ice Armor, they have it twice here. Don't know why. Flame Shield, cooldown begins when invulnerability ends, so no more Immortal Sorcerer. Goodbye to that. Big fan of Lightning Spear. Spawns additional Lightning Spear, increases crit chance by 15%. Some more Blizzard stuff, Teleport, we get the passive here with the Stun, Immobilize, Freeze, basically a CC increase, so more stagger on the boss. Chance to spawn Crackling increase from 5 to 6, which is good because you stack this one, right? Damage for each increased, burning damage from combustion. Where's Mastery is also pretty nice rework. When you crit strike enemy with shock skill, you become charged and take less damage by 25%. While charged, crit strikes have a chance to cause its damage to arc as like damage to a nearby enemy. If there are no other targets, you hit the main target for 250% damage of the damage. That's pretty insane. I'm really curious. I can't wait for this build. I want to make one too. I'll make them all. We get some aspect here as well. Movement speed increase, mana cost reduction, burning increase as well. Just overall, a lot of sword buffs here. Crack energy, a chance to deal increased damage to an actual enemy. This is crazy, right? And chain, they added the damage here, 40%. This aspect is cracked. Creators with lightning spear cause lightning to arc to its target and up to 5 enemies. The damage is increased by a crit damage bonus. This is like a double dipping action bonus here with crit damage, so we want to stack that as much as possible, in my opinion. So I will be doing the build. Flame Shield gives you unhindered. Unhindered means you can move freely through mobs for its duration. We get some aspect buff for ice spikes. Glacial aspect also, extra chill with ice spikes for more damage. Burning here. It's now capped with the intelligence at 40%. The Ceaseless Conduit as well, another cap with intelligence, another cap, summoner. Damage with frost skills got increased as well, the Shatter, which is pretty interesting. And then we got Unleash Glyph. The damage and mana regen has been increased too, up from 7 up to 20 to 25. That's pretty it's pretty insane. And last but not least, we got tempering updates. They are moving some of the temperings to their own category. Like let's say Barb Flay Duration, this bleed augment has five temperings to choose from. So the RNG there is insane. So they're finally reducing it to 4. So they will have their own utility recipe, which is very good for Rogue, Druid, and Barb. And yeah, see, 25 minutes just talking about class balance and updates, but that's okay. That's fine. Expect more videos from these patch notes, and in general for Season 5, I will release them until the season is live on Tuesday. For a full week, it's going to be playable test for a week. And if you like this video, if it find you helpful, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button or comment to trigger YouTube algorithm gods. It would mean a lot to me. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Have a good one and peace.